I feel like trauma is something that is often misunderstood in our culture, even though it's talked about so much. So today I'm going to try to explain trauma in about 5 minutes in this episode. So trauma is an experience or a pattern of experiences that overwhelms our ability to cope. It can disrupt safety, trust, connection with other people, and it doesn't look the same for everyone. So two people may experience the same event, but one doesn't find it traumatic while the other does. It doesn't mean that that person is stronger than the other or the other one is overreacting. It just means that our brains react to it differently. So a response can be influenced by our previous life experiences, relationships, biology, our support system or lack of support system, and then the meaning we make out of that experience. So trauma is a very subjective experience, and it's not about what happened, it's about how your brain and your body experienced it. So like I said, it can be a pattern of events. It may not be just one event. So typically when people think of trauma, they think of one horrible accident, like a car accident, an assault, combat experience, natural disasters, which, yes, all of those are very much traumatic, but it can also be repeated experiences over a long period of time. So any experience that is involving fear, helplessness, unpredictability, or a lack of safety or stability. So if you think about an abusive childhood, childhood neglect, abuse in any relationship or domestic violence, growing up in an unpredictable environment, often children of parents with untreated mental disorders have a traumatic childhood. So those are all just examples. So what those experiences are teaching your brain is that we have to be alert. We can't let our guard down, and the world isn't safe. If you think about, a lot of people remember in their childhood that they could tell the difference of footsteps going down the hallway at night. They could tell if their parent was angry by the way that they were walking, or they could tell like who was walking down the hallway or what kind of alert they needed to be in because of the sound of those footsteps. And that's a trauma response. That's something that they had to pick up on to make themselves feel safe if they knew that their parent was going to be unpredictable that night. So this can show up as hypervigilance, being easily startled, not being able to regulate your own emotions very well, shutting down, feeling disconnected from others, having sleep problems, and physical symptoms as well. So sometimes a trigger can feel way bigger than the situation because of trauma. And triggers, I feel like, is another overused term. I'm not going to get too far into it, but triggers aren't always conscious reminders. Sometimes it can be a smell or a certain sound or a mannerism in somebody that is familiar, and that can hit you when you're not even realizing it. So you may react to something, but you don't realize you're being triggered, and that's why therapy helps, because you can identify those triggers and learn how to respond to them. So a lot of times trauma responses show up in relationships because it damages your trust. It's hard to trust somebody if you don't know you're safe. So it can keep people from getting vulnerable. They put up walls, have conflict a lot, can't handle rejection. There's a lot of uncertainty. So for some, closeness may feel unsafe. And then for others, distance may feel threatening. So that's kind of targeting those attachment patterns, like the anxious attachment. The distance feels dangerous. But then for the avoidant attacher, closeness feels unsafe. So can you actually heal trauma? The answer is obviously yes. I'm a trauma therapist, so I see the world through a trauma lens, but it's not just about getting over it. You're not just going to get over what happened or forget how it happened or pretend it didn't happen. That's not how it works. Healing trauma involves understanding your body's response, learning how to regulate when your body does respond, identifying those triggers, like I just said, and then building safe relationships with people you can trust. Learning how to trust people is part of healing, processing those traumatic memories, and developing new patterns of responding. So there's a couple of evidence-based treatment methods. My favorite is obviously EMDR. I've talked about that before, but it's a way to process trauma it's a way of processing trauma. It's not light talk therapy. If you want to learn more about it, you can check out one of my previous videos on the reflection room. But the goal is not to erase the memory. We're not going to forget that it happened. The goal is to simply help keep it in the past and stop it from affecting your present and your future. So trauma responses are not your identity. The way you react or the triggers that you experience do not define you. They're often just the nervous system doing what it thinks it needs to do to protect you. So your brain has developed this response in order to protect you and keep you safe. And that's all it's doing. And sometimes we just need a little help steering it a different direction, working with it to live around it, or to develop skills to help manage it. And then learn how to build safety. So the focus in therapy is understanding it, developing new responses, building safety, and then learning that the danger is no longer happening. You're not living in it anymore. And sometimes our brain just needs to catch up. Our brain and our body feel like we're still in it, but we have to teach it that it's not. So if that's something that resonates with you and you feel like you could benefit from therapy, we have lots of therapists that specialize in trauma and would love to help you work through it. But I hope this helps to explain trauma in a little bit more depth. And until next time, keep on reflecting.